evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues. Thank you so much for joining us. How many times have you heard people speak about how they could have studied something different in tertiary, or that they wish they could do something entirely different with their careers without necessarily going back to school? Well, it happens a lot, doesn't it? When that happens, it might be time to look into career pivoting, a planned, purposeful change in career path. It can't be a move to a related field or to something completely new. And that's exactly what our guest Mpho Bethia did. He is a Bachelor of Social Sciences degree holder in Public Administration with a minor in Political Science, who is now the founder and director of Open Sand Safari, a mobile safari company based in Maun. Despite pursuing university studies in a field tangential to tourism, Mpho's innate desire to engage in the tourism sector remained unwavering. This desire led him to take a risk during the COVID-19 pandemic outset, when he intentionally started pursuing knowledge around safari operations and equipped himself with skills to be both a professional tour guide and a certified travel agency operator. Today, his mobile safari company, Open Sand Safari, offers an array of safari-related activities in the Okavango Delta, Kalahari and Chobe regions. With this inspiring story, First Issues met with Mpho in Maun about his career pivot and how everything merged to become a thriving undertaking. Mpho, thank you so much for coming on First Issues and affording us your time. We're here to talk about career pivoting, right? Firstly, tell us what it is that you do.
My name is Mpho, like you've already said. I'm a professional safari guide and also a certified travel agency operator, living and working from Maun. First of all, I would just love to mention that I went to the University of Botswana and I studied public administration, minoring in political science. And unlike many other people I went to school with, I've never actually practiced as a public administrator. I just left school and then I got into the field of business. I've tried so many businesses, like everybody does. Once they want to go into business, I did the tendering. I've done supplies, I've done a bit of construction, I've done cleaning services. So I've tried all those things. But during COVID, when COVID started, we all ended up home. I had nothing to do, but at the back of my mind, I've always loved being in the tourism industry. But during COVID, I just asked myself, what more can you do with life? What can you do with the time you have? And life is not guaranteed. So that's when I decided to just pivot and just start studying about the tourism industry, the policies, everything that has to do with the tourism industry in Botswana.
So clearly you have an innate love for tourism, the outdoors and nature. So then why public administration and not tourism and hospitality?
That's a tricky one. It's a question I asked myself once I was already a newbie and already admitted for the program I was doing. Like, why don't you just do tourism? But I found myself in that space. I applied and I was taken for that, and I couldn't contest it, so I stuck with it until the end. But hope is never lost. So eventually when COVID came around, I was like, okay, this is the best time, with all this time I have, to just realign myself, recalibrate, and just try do what I've always wanted to do. And I did all that. I had all the time in the world and I put it to good use, and I'm here right now.
Clearly, there was a lot of planning that went into you pivoting and making that decision, right? You don't just wake up one day and say, I'm not going to be what I studied at school, I'm going to be this. So perhaps you could talk us through the steps that you went through, the amount of time that it took for you to end up here running a thriving business, I want to believe.
Yes, it did take time, and it did take a lot of sacrifice as well. Being personal, financial, and just everything that encompasses who you are as a person. When you make that switch, there's a lot you're going to lose to gain in the far end of everything. So I had to sit down, study, and literally forgo everything I was doing to fully invest in what I'm doing now. And that meant losing some of the businesses I've had, and also taking away a lot of time from my own personal life to just, study this and just, recalibrate what I used to do, basically.
Yeah.
So that meant I had to take more time and put it to learning.
Yeah.
Learning the industry. I was just not going to get into this and pretend I know everything. I had to study, I had to consult, I had to talk to guys who've been practicing for a long time in the industry. I had to get guidance, and I also had to believe in myself to do this. And I ended up here.
So lastly, you're a young person who's done this, in the nick of COVID, when everybody, or a lot of people, were hopeless. You took the time, and you literally left everything behind, right, to start over. So what words of encouragement do you have for another young person who's miserable in their career, because we're talking about career pivoting, and they want to shift gears and go into something else, maybe a passion project, a purpose project, or both?
I think, I believe it's never too late. It's never too late to make that decision that's going to ultimately change your life forever, like I've made. And the biggest thing that makes is not do what we want to do or what we are made for, as the fear of failure. What I keep saying to people is that I don't fail in life. I face challenges. Everything to me is a challenge, but never a failure. So don't be afraid of just, packing up your bags and going to the next place, or trying something totally different. You never know. It might just turn out good. Always take the chance to leave your comfort zone. A lot of us are too comfortable. But are we happy in that comfort? I don't think so.